Hey y'all, so it done got late. I recorded earlier today and I was talking about astrology and zodiacs and all that stuff. So I have to do a quick little store run. And I was listening to a reading. It was a pick a card reading. And I think the subject is how have you changed in other people's eyes? And so the card that I picked, it was discussing a lot about body image. I gotta tell y'all what Rue did today. So usually, like if I go out in the yard and I'm like cleaning up or taking out the trash or like doing something in the yard, I'll let him run around. Well, y'all, I think Rue is in heat. He shot across the street at the neighbor. She was coming out her door and she was getting in her car. And at the same time, a car was coming. And the car was going slow because, it's still a residential area. But, I mean, he darted out. So she hit her brakes or whatever. But then she started a slow roll, noticing that, he was still trying to cross the street. And I was like, oh my God, please don't hit my dog. I done seen that happen a lot. I've seen a lot of dogs get hit. And that is just like traumatic. So I didn't want to see that again. So, anyway, I was so upset with Rue. And the crazy part was the lady, after he came back across the street, she looked at me and she had like this creepy smile on her face. And I was like, oh my God, was she trying to hit him? I know Rue get on a lot of people's nerves over there. But, I mean, he don't be out there that much. I don't think, no. When I take him for a walk or he on a leash, I don't know. Anyway, back to the body image stuff. So, she was talking about you change because, you don't really too tough, care what people think about your body like you used to in the past. She said that, in the past you used to cover up a lot and you dress more modest and people are noticing your tattoos on your back. And then she went into how the people from my past used to body shame, and they are coming to some type of conclusion about how they used to do that. So I'm gonna talk about the body tonight as I go to the grocery store. So I don't know. I've always had an insecurity about my body type. I am a short woman. I am curvy. Even when I was at my smallest, I think I can remember being in like maybe the 6th grade, concerned with my body weight. And people used to call me skinny mini, but I used to still think that I wasn't skinny enough. So yeah, I had an extreme body dysmorphia. I noticed, I was attractive, but I wasn't really sure, why people would be attractive to me. And as you grow older, your hips fill out, your breasts get bigger and all that stuff. And I remember in high school, I'm back up a little bit. In middle school, it took me forever to develop breasts and hips. Like, I think I was flat chested, and it had got to the point where my aunt was buying me like padded bras because I just wasn't developing. And somebody had told me to start putting butter on my chest to help my breasts grow. I remember the girls in high school, it was just, and I got teased a lot too, being so slim. Even though I was so slim, I still thought that my thighs were big or something, and just couldn't see myself. Just, body dysmorphia. And I remember being in class, and one of the little boys was going around talking about everybody body or breast or something. I think he got to me and he said something about me being flat chested, and everybody bust out laughing. And so I remember feeling really sad about that, because I did notice that, I was like the only one who hadn't developed. I hadn't even started my period yet. I didn't start my period until 10th grade. And so when I got to high school, I had discovered Rainbow, and my breasts had started to come in. And Rainbow had these bras that had the push up and the pads in them, so they gave me a little bit of a bigger breast. And I remember it was almost like overnight. One day I went into school, and I put on my little padded bra, and I walked into the gym, because that's where we used to go early in the morning, and this guy yells out, look at those sharp titties. And everybody turned around and looked, and it made me feel so insecure. So here I was, insecure about being too skinny, and then when I got the breast and the boobs and the hips, I started to be insecure about that. So yeah, I always had this weird disconnection with my body, not really understanding. I think the women in my family, on both sides of my family, my mom and my dad's side, they were curvy women, breast, butt, small waist, and I just did not physically fit in. And I was told, by my family a lot of times, I had a flat butt or no breast, big nose, just teasing. But I don't think they understood how deep the body dysmorphia was. So fast forward, I'm in a relationship, and I was at my most fit body when I was in this relationship with my ex-husband. I was practicing, I was going into the Army, and I had the recruiter told me I had to lose 30 pounds, because even though I was slim, I didn't fit the chart that they had for a person my height. So I lost 30 pounds, exercise, went on a crazy diet. I kind of learned fasting through that process. Learned how to exercise almost 3 to 4 hours a day. It kind of dug into more that even though I was in shape, I wasn't in shape. So then, you know, I started to have babies. When I had my first daughter, even though I was extremely healthy with her, I didn't realize that when you had a baby, your stomach, and by me being so small, I didn't realize that my stomach wasn't going to tighten back up, and I was going to have that six-pack. But I worked out every day with her. I had, it was a routine, but my stomach, my skin just didn't snap back, you know. So I know that, on top of, when, you know, watching movies and seeing people when they had their babies, they back with the flat stomach seemed like. So at that point, it kind of, my body image just started to decline. So even though I actually had lost quite a big amount of weight with her, I never lost it all, but I still had a nice shape. Then baby number 2 came, and baby number 2 was accompanied with a ton of stress. I won't get into all I was going through at that time with her, but when I had her, my stomach did not go down as it had did at least a little bit with Joya. I'm sorry, with Caitlin, with my first baby. So here I am, my body's changed. I already got this weird way of viewing my body as if I wasn't enough. And then you know, I wasn't in a healthy relationship. So even he noticed and, you know, started to make his comments. And just all around the board, my self-esteem dropped steadily, constantly, day by day. Then baby number 3, and I remember I was pregnant with my third baby, and I worked at this fruit shop, and they constantly joned me about my weight, the way and I'm pregnant, big pregnant, and they joned me about my weight, the way my butt was spread, and my stomach and my face. And so by the time I had my son, my self-esteem was about this much when it came to my body type. So eventually I got a divorce, and after my divorce, towards the end of my divorce, I had started to smoke weed, and I was smoking weed with my husband, and then I got divorced and I started smoking weed all the time. But that was around the time when my spiritual journey began. So I started getting deeper into yoga. I started really vibing with the conspiracy theories and things like that. And I started to eat healthier. So, and exercise. I was eating, like, even though I still had my eating disorder, I was eating less and working out, I don't know, y'all, like almost 6 hours a day. And I kind of rekindled a relationship with my brother. We didn't have a bad relationship. It's just we kind of lost touch. But we always had a relationship where, you know, he kind of understood that, hey, she went and had kids and got married. He told me, you know. So, my body had started to get back in shape to size it was before I started to have kids. And my brother started to kind of use me as his model. My confidence was building up, but I was still going through a divorce. I had started to date somebody who was indecisive. And that, coupled with not being healed, having a healed body image, made me doubt my self-worth, especially when I had been dealing with an abusive marriage. So I'm physically in the best shape, but mentally I'm still going through. And then my cake business started to pick up. As my cake service started to pick up and I started to do a little bit more catering, that helped me build my self-confidence around being able to take care and provide for my family. My body image was still pretty broken at this point. Okay, so my body image was still pretty broken at that point. But and my money was really funny. So I ran into I was an old friend of our family, and I found out that her and her sisters were dancers. So I'm like, look, I will try. My body, I done lost weight. I'm in the best shape that I could be in right now. Let me try and make things work. Y'all, this is the funniest story. I love to tell this story. I literally had maybe $200, right? And I took the $200 thinking, okay, I'm going to flip it when I go down there and dance. Now, I danced in high school, but I didn't twerk. I didn't strip dance. I didn't really know how to do that type of dance. But I was like, I'm going to try. So I had started practicing and all this stuff. So I asked her, I called her as I was like, she was like, okay, you gonna need to get you some dance shoes and some outfits, and you have to have a certain type of outfit and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, where I get the outfits from? So I go and buy the outfits. Y'all, it cost me about $50 to get the outfit. So now I'm down to $50. So she tell me, okay, we got to drive up to I think we went to South Carolina. And so now I'm driving my minivan up to South Carolina. And my gas tank, I think I had about a half a gas tank or something like that. So I drive up there. My brother was a hairstylist, so my hair was already beautiful. He had hooked me up. I hadn't told him that I was about to do this. I was keeping it secret because I really didn't want nobody to know. And then, child, I get up there and the energy just was not, it did not equal. I did not fit in the same way I kind of don't fit in there. I definitely didn't fit in there. My costumes kind of didn't, they still wasn't stripperish. or whatever. But I was pretty, like that's something that I have always believed about myself, is that I was a pretty person. I don't have like the same body type as, I guess, the majority of people desire to have, but I still had a really beautiful shape. So we get up there and it's amateur night. So the only people that's in there is guys who are performing to try and sell their CD or whatever. They don't have no money to be paying no stripper. They trying to make money. So they performing in these strip clubs, and it's like 20 of us walking around in this strip club. All of us got on our little outfits, and my friend, she's like, you got to pay the lady in order to dance. So I'm like, so that's more money. So I think towards the end of the night, I think I had maybe about $20. And I ain't make no money, y'all. I ain't make no money. So I actually think, and then you have to tip out. When you leave, you got to pay to leave. I think I left maybe about $5, 10 probably. And she was saying, don't let this discourage you. It usually be, people here, and it's just a slow night. I brought you up here while it's slow. So we get back to the room that she rented, and she leaves, y'all. And when she left, she told me she was going to go give somebody a private dance. So I was like, what? So once she said that, I kind of knew what was up. And I was like, oh, hell no. This ain't for me. Y'all, I cried myself to sleep. I got up the next day, and she said, I'm about to drive back, but I'm going to let you follow me to the club. I get in there at that club. I'm looking around at everybody, and I'm just like, this ain't my scene, y'all. Not for no $10, $15, like, for real. Like, I could drive Uber. So I get ready to leave, and they have what you call a house mom, and she didn't want to let me leave. And she was like, where you going? I was like, this ain't for me. She was ready to fight me to keep me in that place. What kind of energy is that? I still to this day don't understand what her issue was with me deciding, yo, I'm not a fucking stripper. So I drive to like this gas station, call my brother, and I tell him what was going on. And he was like, you what? Oh, hell no. If you don't get your ass down back. And like, he really cussed me out. Anyway, the story is still funny to me because it was an experience that it was something I always wanted to experience. And I think most young girls desire to be like, I wonder what it's like. And I actually got a chance to experience, and I'm grateful that it was something that I didn't like, because I did notice that it is not an atmosphere where you can be sober and function. And at the time, even though I had started to smoke weed, I wasn't a heavy smoker. I wasn't a heavy drinker. So it wasn't the lifestyle for me. And I don't knock strippers. I feel like that type of work is necessary. My spiritual self feels like sexual energy, it serves a purpose. And desire is an important part of our world. So I don't knock it or whatever, but I did, you kind of, discover that it wasn't my thing. So here I am, beautiful body. I get back. The guy that I'm dating is still indecisive, and so I started dating another guy, and I just didn't heal that body dysmorphia that I had. So my brother passed away. I'm trying to fast forward through all this story because it's a lot added up. But I tried to I'm trying to sorry y'all, I keep getting off track. But so my brother passed away. Then my sister, she caught breast cancer, or caught it, or had breast cancer. Breast cancer runs through my family. My mom passed away from it when I was really young. And hold on y'all, let me run this story before they close, because I don't have a lot to get.